Hey there everybody, Tamer Shama here with another fantasy football roto clip, and today we're going to take a look at running backs. Specifically, running backs you should look to sit and look to start for week 3. We're going to take a look at 2 starts and 1 sit. And the first start we're going to take a look at is Darren McFadden, and he's been a big surprise so far. Not a lot expected of him coming out of the preseason, but so far in his first 2 games, he's had 303 total yards, only 1 touchdown, but still, you really have to like the production he's given fantasy owners in the first 2 weeks. And I think week 3 is going to be another good week for him for a couple of reasons. First of all, you look at the Arizona Cardinal rush defense. They just gave up over 200 yards on the ground to the Atlanta Falcons in week 2. You got to like McFadden's chances against that rush defense in week 3 based on what they did, of course, against the Falcons in week 2. Also, you look at the quarterback situation right now for the Oakland Raiders. Whether it's Gronkowski or whether it's Campbell, and that really hasn't been decided at this point for week 3, their passing offense is definitely not a strength for this team. And in a game that they should have a chance to win against a weak Cardinal team, you would figure that the Raider coaching staff is going to look to run the ball, focus on the guy that's been the best offensive player so far this season for them in McFadden, and also play some defense, and that's going to be their best chance to win. So look for McFadden to get touches in that offense just based on the quarterback situation. Also, another reason to think that he's going to get a lot of touches this week is the Michael Bush situation. He obviously didn't play in the first 2 weeks. He may come back this week, but it's still up in the air at this point. Even if he does play in week 3, don't look for him to really get too involved with the offense. They're going to try to break him back in slowly. He hasn't played since late August, so they're going to look to try to break him back in slowly. McFadden should still get the majority of the touches this upcoming week, and I think he's going to be a really good option as a running back too. And he could even put up running back 1 numbers if he's able to find the end zone once or twice in week 3. Moving to the second start that we're going to look at for week 3 is Clinton Portis. Now, he hasn't, unlike McFadden, he hasn't been a great fantasy guy so far this season. He's struggled in his first 2 games despite finding the end zone a few times. But I think this week's going to be a real breakout for Portis, much to the delight of his fantasy owners. He's playing a Rams defense that, much like that Arizona defense, has been poor against the run this year. Their latest follies, so to speak, in the rush defense department was, of course, against McFadden. McFadden had 145 yards on the ground in week 2. So look for him to be able to run against that rush defense against the Rams, much like McFadden should be able to do against the Cardinals. And also, you look at the Redskins in this game, they should be ahead for most, if not all, of this game. And that means they're going to rely on Portis to run the ball and to be able to eat some clock and get them to a victory on the road. So look for him to get anywhere from 25 to 30 carries in this game. Look for him to be running out the clock late in the game. And I think he's going to have a big week. I think he's going to break 100 yards rushing, probably find the end zone once. This could be a big week for Portis and for his owners, long awaited after struggles in the first 2 weeks for Portis. Then you look at the one sit. We're going to have one negative situation this week. The one sit for this week is really the entire backfield for the Dallas Cowboys, that being Marion Barber and Felix Jones. We're not going to really look too much at Tashard Choice, but really Felix Jones and Marion Barber. And their rush offense this year has just not been good so far, the Cowboys. And you look towards week 3, I don't think it's going to get any better for not really reasons based on the rush offense for the Cowboys, but really their opponent. They're playing the Houston Texans. And this season, the Texans have been very good against the run. They've only allowed 62 yards in 2 games. That's 31 yards per game for all you mathematicians out there. I know you needed me to figure that out for you. 62 yards in 2 games. Really good rush defense. They've been terrible against the pass. They've given up big yardage through the air against Peyton Manning and against Donovan McNabb. So look for the Cowboys to try to exploit that pass defense for the Texans in this game. They have a lot of weapons in the offense, in the passing game. They should be able to exploit the Texans secondary, and they're going to probably move away from the run pretty early in this game for that reason. Also, you have to look at the game itself. They're in Houston, the Dallas is. They're 0-2. Houston's been very good despite that pass defense this season at 2-0. Look for the Cowboys to probably be trailing for a good part of this game and need to play catch-up, need to get that passed offense going, and they're going to look to move the ball through the air. So I don't think the focus is going to be on the running game, which means that Felix Jones and Marion Barber are not going to be a big factor in that running game this week just based on touches. Now, if you are in a PPR league, you could bump them up, either one of those guys, to a running back 3 or a flex guy, But you have to keep in mind that Tony Romo has a lot of options in that offense. He's got Jason Witten. He has, of course, Miles Austin, Dez Bryant. A lot of guys in that offense he can target. He's not necessarily going to look to dump it off to the backs in order to get yardage, especially if they're trailing. He's going to be looking to get the ball down the field. So I think both of those guys, maybe in PPR leagues you want to look to start them, but I really would look to go elsewhere in Week 3 as far as starting either Felix Jones or Marion Barber. So that's the sit starts in the running back department for Week 3. Look here for more updates, video updates every week. Different players, different positions we're going to look at throughout the season. And, of course, every Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., you want to check out Scott Engel and Adam Ronis on Roto Experts on Sirius 211 XM 147. Again, that's 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. every Monday through Friday. Scott Engel, Adam Ronis, Sirius 211 XM 147. Everybody, good luck this weekend, and we'll see you next week.